that is, don't you see how he's dressed? What is he doing here? Ugh.
Lucas. Come in.
Is it...
Oh, of course it's all right. We're all family now, huh?
how does it,
Oh.
It's a, Musa, right?
A mezuzah, yes.
And it's all right for me
Yes. You touch it and then kiss the finger that touched it. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
It means a lot to be in your home.
Well, come in and get comfortable. I have water for your
No,
feet.
it's all right. I actually just came from Shoshana's.
That dear girl. Well, come sit. I'm sorry if I had known you were this punctual. I would have put the bread in earlier.
Thank you. I'm quite all right.
You're sweet. We'll have some figs at least.
It's really all right.
Oh, please. Boys are always hungry. I know. You're grown. But mothers never get out of the habit. And you certainly don't eat well on the road. Look at you. Have some figs.
Well, thank you.
I thought I might be hearing from you when Yochanan told me what you were up to.
I hope it's not too much trouble.
Oh, honey, are you kidding? You think a Jewish mother ever gets tired of talking about her boy? But really, I'm glad you're doing this. Who knows how long before he comes back, you know? We've already lost Stephen, Yaakov. If our generation dies out, people need to know. And I never learned to write, so someone's got to do it. So, what would you like to know?
What would you like people to know?
Oh, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before.
Surely people must have asked
Oh,
about
of course,
him.
they ask about him all the time. It's just, usually they already have in mind what they want to hear. I don't think anyone's ever asked me what I wanted them to know. Everything. I want them to know everything about him.
Anything you want to tell. Maybe start at the beginning?
Well, I was young. I was really young. And then the Lord interrupted my life. I knew what to expect out of the world, and none of it included a shiny bright man appearing in my house saying, "Greetings, you who are highly favored, the Lord is with you." Now, at that point, I've already got questions. You know, the normal ones, like, are you sure you have the right house? Or, perhaps more honestly, you do realize that I live in a backwater town in occupied country and nobody's really feeling God's favor here. Or, you know, the big question, I'm sorry, what does that even mean? I'm on my knees in my mother's kitchen and I'm probably already crying. And this angel says, "Don't be afraid." And then proceeds to make it about 1,000 times scarier. He says, "You have found favor with God. You will conceive and bear a son and name him Yeshua. He will be very great and he will be called the Son of the Most High. Adonai God will give him the throne of his forefather David, and he will reign over Israel forever. His kingdom will never have an end."
And what did you think?
I thought, should I be worried? I thought just about everything you can think. It's amazing how many things can go through your mind at once. What does that mean, the Son of the Most High? What's this about him inheriting the throne of King David? And why are you naming a child I haven't even conceived yet? But what came out of my mouth was, "So you know I'm not actually married yet, right?"
Ooh.
And somehow he still makes it scarier. The Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of God, will overshadow you, and the power of the Most High will cover you. So the one to be born will be called holy. He will be called the Son of God. Now, there were children foretold in our history. Abraham's son Yitzchak, Manoah's son Samson, but those were still natural children, if you know what I mean. Here I'm being told that it's going to be a complete and utter miracle, and I'm going to bear it. And I kind of had every reason to say no. I don't know if it is the same where you are from, but here there are 2 marriage contracts. The first is the Kiddushim, where you're promised to each other but not living together yet.
An engagement?
I suppose so, but it's a binding legal thing. The Nisuim, the second contract, is where you're actually married, but even though you're not together yet in the Kiddushim contract, it's still legally binding. It takes divorce papers to dissolve it. Which also means that if you're pregnant and it's not his, that's adultery. And for that, the entire village is supposed to stone you. And even if that's not enforced, and it isn't always, it's going to bring terrible shame on everyone I love. Not just my family, but on yourself. And it will forever change what people think of me. You know how it is. Well, maybe you don't know how it is. You're a man. What must that be like? Well, if you don't know how it is, you're blessed, my brother. Anyway, for a woman here, we don't have a lot of worth. I knew I was not going to have a job. I was not going to have a political position. I was not going to be remembered for some great achievement. A woman's good name and integrity is all she has. Add to that, it's not exactly safe to raise a boy to be king in a country that's occupied by a foreign power. And this may not seem so important in comparison, but this also means that I'm forever giving up my right to a normal life. I mean, it wasn't a great life, but it was mine. And now with the Lord interrupting, that normalcy and what little control I had would be forever lost to me. I mean, just normal, expected things like you want your baby to be your husband's baby too, and I don't get to have that. But the most terrifying part is the idea of God coming that close. I didn't know what the angel's words meant, but I knew that something very holy was going to happen, and you don't know how terrifying that is until it's about to happen to you and there's no veil between you and the Almighty.
Well, I mean, if it's the divine plan, it's not like you can really say no.
But I think I could have. The Blessed One isn't like the, what is it the Greeks believed in, the Fates? When Queen Hadassah had the chance...
Sorry?
Oh, you call her Esther, don't you? You've read Esther?
Yes.
When Queen Esther had the chance to save our people from genocide, her uncle Mordecai told her, "Perhaps you have come to the royal position for such a time as this." But when she hesitated, he said, "If you do not do this, help will come to Israel from somewhere else, but not to you." The Lord has plenty of ways to get his plan done if we say no. It may not be a good idea to say no, but I think we've always got the choice. So I've got this angel of God in front of me, and the thing is, even more than the sense of terror, is the sense of good. And I would kind of rather stand with God's dangerous good than walk away from the wellspring of all goodness and expect that to somehow turn out better, you know? I figured if he commands it, then he takes care of it. So I said the only sensible thing I could, which was yes. And then I packed up and went to my cousin Elisheva's house because the angel had said that she was pregnant, and if she wasn't, I would know for sure that I was crazy. Elisheva was older than my mother, God rest them both. She was the dearest woman you would ever want to meet, but no kids. It was one of those family tragedies that everybody knows about, you know. Elisheva can't get pregnant. But she was. And she prophesied about my son, and her faith helped me believe all those impossible things the angel had said. I stayed with her all the way until her baby came, and there was just this beautiful sense of excitement and awe for what God was doing. And then I went home. Usually right after you say yes to God is when Satan bombards you with all of the reasons you should have said no. I get home, and there's no angel, and there's no Elisheva. And on top of being exhausted and my back hurting and everything smelling weird and making me gag even though I'm hungry all the time. Sorry, you don't have to put that in. I think your Greek readers are maybe a little more sensitive about those things than we Jews are, huh? Well, on top of my condition, there are rumors. And my mother won't even look at me. And somehow on the trip from my mind to my mouth, all those things the angel said about me and about the pregnancy just start sounding really silly and self-important. And whenever people are calling you a liar or crazy and telling you how awful you are, and you're that tired, it's really hard to stay optimistic about God's plan. Even Yosef, the man I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with, doesn't believe me. It takes an angelic visit of his own to convince him. But the angel doesn't come back to me, and suddenly I'm wishing I asked a lot more questions. How am I supposed to raise the son of the Most High when I don't even know what to tell my own family? How am I supposed to raise the son of the Most High, period? I guess every mother is afraid she'll mess up her children, but really, the Mashiach? How on earth am I a fit person to raise the Mashiach? And what happens if you do mess up the Mashiach? Don't laugh, I was worried. You know, what if I turn out to be a terrible mother? And maybe this is just me thinking crazy things because I'm pregnant and stressed out and lonely, but what if he doesn't like me? Don't laugh, you naughty boy!
I'm sorry.
I know it sounds... But it was really... When I was a child, there was this glow when I thought of God. We were his chosen people, which I guess to me also meant that we were better than the Romans occupying us. No offense. I liked God because God liked us. And then I got older and I started to realize as a woman, I'm exempt from studying Torah. Not just exempt, but there are some who actually say that it's wrong, that it's a disgrace to the scriptures to teach them to a woman. And we women are the ones who are always veiled because the rabbis say that we're tempters. I realized that as a wife and mother, for the rest of my life, I will be the one who lights the Shabbat candles in my home because the rabbis say it was women who brought darkness into the world. And perhaps you know what that's like when you start to believe people when they tell you that you're wrong and bad just because of what you are. Well, of course you do. You probably deal with that all the time with as insensitive as some of the brothers can be, even though we settled the circumcision question. I'm sorry. I just get so angry and sad that there are still people making it hard for their own brothers and sisters just because they come of different blood. And it drives me crazy that they act like my son's blood doesn't matter. My boy didn't die just so that they could go on trying harder to follow the law well enough. And the fact that they would keep people from knowing how much he loves and accepts them. Well, I'm sorry for whatever nonsense you've had to put up with along the way.
Thank you.
So yes, you probably do know exactly what that's like. That feeling that no matter what you do, because you're the wrong race or the wrong gender or have the wrong feelings, that you're always going to be inherently wrong. So that childhood glow faded into this belief that God may love the nation in general, but he's never going to like me. It seemed like it would be better for God's honor if I just sort of stayed out of his way. And now I literally can't. It's a disgrace for me to even study God's word. And now I've got the word of God literally inside me, wiggling, kicking me, keeping me up at night. You don't have to put that part in either. No, it's cute how squeamish your people are about this. And all of that aside, I know I'm not perfect. I know I don't trust God perfectly or love my neighbor perfectly. I could pray more. Why me? I'm barely a wife yet. I don't know how to be a mom. I'm not a prophetess like Deborah or Huldah. I'm not a queen like Hadassah, Esther. I'm not a warrior like Yael who won a victory for Israel with a tent peg. I mean, I've never really been good with tents anyway. I'm not even the wife of a priest like my cousin Elisheva. I'm from a poor family. I'm marrying a carpenter. I mean, a good carpenter, but a carpenter. I have literally nothing to offer. I didn't have every reason to say no. I was every reason to say no. And suddenly I'm furious about it. Furious that I have nowhere to hide, that I'm forced to face this presence that will just show up how broken I am. I'm never going to be worthy to bear and raise the Son of God. So why are you even asking me to do this? Now, don't get me wrong. I was still willing to say yes. This was all mixed with the excitement and honor and awareness that God was doing something. But a lot of times that made it even scarier. Like, God's eventually going to figure out how unfit I am. So it was a willingness that kept its head down. I'll do the job, but a little guiltily, you know. Because I do love him and I want to serve him, and all I have to offer is me. Sometimes I found myself even avoiding praying because why would God want to help me? So, just when I couldn't get any more stressed out, we have to go to Bethlehem. Because politics. You know what's really fun when you're 9 months pregnant? Traveling from the northern province around Samaria to the southern province. We arrived and I told Yosef, we are never leaving. My mother doesn't want anything to do with me anyway, and I am never getting on a donkey again, so you can start looking for a house now. We found a barn. Because apparently we weren't inadequate enough. And then he's there. And even though he's so tiny, he can still cling to my finger for dear life. And he just snuggles into you like you're the only thing in the world that makes the world worth it. Oh, he was such a good snuggler. Some of my others, Shimon or Yehuda, rocking them was like trying to snuggle a fish, you know? But he was just, he was such a good snuggler. And I realized I was every reason to say no. But he didn't. And so I couldn't say no to him, even if what he was asking of me was more vulnerable than I had ever planned on. I had expected to be the Lord's servant. Somehow in all of those 9 months, I still never expected to be his mom. You know? I had accepted a task. You are going to bear the Mashiach. But it was a task where I could not keep Adonai at arm's length. My entire job as a mother was to love and be loved. There's no better teacher for that than a baby. There is just nothing like the unconditional love of a baby. You know how they look at you like you're just the cleverest person in all creation because they slapped the floor and you slapped the floor back? My own son trained me day in and day out to let the Holy One love me. And it turned out that all of the things that made me unfit for God were exactly what he needed me to be. I was a woman. He needed a mom. I was poor. The world needed a savior who knew what poverty felt like. I was young and a virgin and from the middle of nowhere, and all of those were the fulfillments of prophecies made centuries before I was born. Prophecies that man said I wasn't even fit to study, but God said were meant for me. And you know, the reasons to say no never stop. We ended up as refugees not long after that.
Refugees?
That's a story in itself. Well, you know how I said it's not safe to raise a boy to be king in an occupied country? It's not safe. An angel of the Lord came to warn us, but yeah, Yeshua grew up those first few years in Egypt. And when we returned, we ended up back in my hometown of Nazareth because Bethlehem was too dangerous. And rumors don't die in small towns. I honestly never fit in there again. Saying yes to God doesn't mean that life gets easy and suddenly everything works out happily. Saying yes to God eventually meant that I saw my son killed in front of me. Even now, after he has been raised from the dead, I'm getting to watch my other sons be persecuted for preaching about him. And his students too, they all became like children to me. Now they're scattered all over the world. Some of them have been arrested. Yaakov lost his life. So, saying yes gets easier with practice. But it's always a choice. But I realized if I said no to God, I would still be suffering, just without purpose. I would still have gone through the pain of childbirth, just with different children. I would still be in danger from an occupying power that tortures people just to make a point. No, I probably shouldn't say that too loudly, right? Don't worry. Nobody in this neighborhood reports that kind of thing. Life would still be hard. It just wouldn't mean anything. Of course, I actually did say no at least once. When Yeshua was grown and preaching, his brothers became convinced that he was insane and should be brought home. And they convinced me.
Oh?
Because you know what's easier than believing that you're vital to God's plan and he wants to love you so fiercely that he would take on flesh and blood? Believing that that's an arrogant, presumptuous, blasphemous thought and that your delusions of grandeur just got passed down to your son. I came around eventually, partly because there were so many people who knew that he was more sane than anyone they had ever met that they were blocking the door and we couldn't get to him to bring him home. But also just because his love is just relentless. I watched a lifetime of my son refusing to say no to all of the people that everyone thought God should say no to. Samaritans, tax collectors, prostitutes, even the Pharisees who opposed him, and the Romans occupying our land. And me. The mother who should have known better, but even after angels and more angels and a lifetime of knowing him, still doubted. You know what I want you to tell them, Lucas? Tell them, whoever you are, you will find yourself in that place someday. Whatever your task in life is, God is calling you to love and be loved in it as exactly who you are. But you will find that there are times when you doubt, times when it is the hardest thing in the world to let the Holy One love you. Times when it seems like it would be better to just keep your head down and keep him at arm's length. You will also find that even when we have said no to him, he does not say no to us. And that is why he came. It's why I got caught up in his story. It's why our lives happened the way they did. It's even why I had to watch him die. Because he so fiercely wants to be close to you. Man, woman, Gentile, Jew, that he laid plans centuries before I was even born, so that the real reasons to say no, the darkness we all bring into the world, the diseased and broken parts of us that run from his presence and reject God, wouldn't mean that we had to be rejected by God. Tell them, Satan will tell you your every reason to say no. That you're the wrong gender or the wrong age or the wrong person, the wrong heart. Or that you're not fit for God's service. Or that it's just not worth the pain and uncertainty and loss of control. But Lucas, tell them, I hope you say yes. Tell them, when God interrupts your life, I hope you say yes. Because he has already said yes to you.
since many have undertaken to draw up an account of these things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us from the eyewitnesses, it seemed good to me also, having carefully investigated everything from the beginning, to write an orderly account for you, most honorable Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things you have been taught.